Ahoy me hearties, and welcome back as Pirate D. Wayne welcomes you as we read another amazing adventure as we continue reading Bunnicula and the Howliday Inn. Always remember that as we go through these amazing stories and read these outstanding adventures, all you have to do is press the CC button in your YouTube link in order to follow along with the words. Now I believe that Madam Owl will be perfect to join us for today's adventure. Now that Madam Owl is here, let's shove off and join this adventure. Bunnicula and the Howliday Inn, Chapter 9. And then there were 3. It was useless trying to sleep. Even if I'd been able to get the message of the food dish out of my mind, which it wasn't, my eardrums were assaulted by the Howards and Heather's ceaseless caterwauling. It seemed worse than usual that night, with one taking up the howl as soon as the other left off. With it all, the storm was again raging in full force, thunder and lightning exploding in the air like giant firework displays. In short, Chateau Bow was not exactly slumber heaven that night. Help Howl's out now, I turned the phrase over and over in my head. I had already decided that Howls referred to Howard and Heather. Someone was telling me to help them out. But who and why? They seemed perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. The way they were kept apart from everyone else, they probably wouldn't accept help even if I tried to offer. Unless, and here I stopped for a moment to consider a new thought, unless they had sent the message. Maybe they were saying, help us out now. Were they in trouble? Were they in fact the victims? A sudden crash of thunder startled me into the realization that it had become very still. For several minutes there was no thunder, and no howling. Why, I asked myself. And then a flash of lightning revealed it all. In the fleeting moment of illumination, I saw 2 figures scurrying across the compound. Howard and Heather were out, I thought. And then the words of the food dish took a new meaning. What if, instead of help Howl's out, it read, help Howl's out now? A scene rapidly played itself out in my mind. Chester eating his dinner. He looks up. Howard and Heather are staring at him through the wire mesh of his bungalow. He realizes that they have put poison in his food, and as he takes a last gap of breath, I can feel the tears coming to my eyes as I imagine this part. He finds the bottom to scratch out a message on the bottom of his food dish, hoping that somehow it would reach me. A cry for help. Warning from beyond. That it was, I was certain. Without giving a thought to what I'd do once I got there, I threw open my door and raced across the compound to Howard and Heather's bungalow. Taxi must have seen me coming because he called out, Harold! I didn't answer. Harold, is that you? What are you doing? What's going on? I stopped dead in my track. Howard and Heather were gone. They're out again, I cried. On the loose. What are you talking about? Taxi asked. Who's out? Howard and Heather, I answered. Have you seen them, Taxi? I have to find them before it's too late. Sure, I've seen them. Seems like I've seen everybody tonight. What do you mean, I asked. Who have you seen? I just told you, Harold. Everybody. Well, everybody but you, that is. Until now, that is. Now I've seen you too. Boy, it's been some night. Try to sleep? Forget it. Who have you seen? I demanded again. Everybody. First, Howard and Heather were running around. I thought that was pretty silly. I mean, with the rain coming down like it has and all, seems to me like a good night to stay home, you know what I mean? Oh. Who else? Oh, well, Max and Georgette. So they were out too, I said under my breath. Yeah, I thought. Boy, some night for a picnic. Then I got mad I wasn't invited, so I went back to my bungalow and sulked. And Lyle? I don't know if he sulked or not. He probably did, knowing him, but you have to ask him, Hughes. No, I interrupted. I mean, was he out too? Oh, Taxi paused for a moment to think. Yes, no, I don't think so. Maybe, I'm not sure. I glanced over at Lyle's bungalow. I heard him muttering to himself inside. Then I cast my eyes in the direction of Max and Georgette's bungalow. They were empty. Mystery upon mystery, I thought. What does it all mean? I thought back to the message at the bottom of the food dish. If it read, help, Howl's out now, it might mean that Howard and Heather were the murderers and that now they'd killed Max and Georgette. Or if it read, help, Howl's out now, it could mean that Howard and Heather were next to the list of victims, that Max and Georgette were the killers and they'd struck again. Now they'd escape, just as they'd planned. My mind was spinning. Taxi, I said, scratching myself behind the ear. Yes, Harold. What do you make of it? I'd say I'd let up tomorrow morning. Huh? I think it'll blow over soon. This is just a little squall. I don't think... Not talking about the storm, Taxi, I said sharply. Oh, talking about these strange disappearances. I don't know what to make of it, Harold, Taxi said after thinking for a moment. But I'll tell you one thing. What's that? I sure will be glad to get back home. I looked around the compound. There were 3 of us left. 3 out of 9 who had started the week at Chateau Bow Wow. So will I, Taxi, I said softly. So will I. Back inside my bungalow, I shook myself dry and lay down to think. I really didn't know what was left for me to do. Obviously, I'd been too late. Whatever the message had meant, Howard and Heather were gone, and there were no longer anything anyone could do to help. With a heavy heart, I shut my eyes and tried once again to sleep. I shall never forget my dream that night. I was the only one left. In all of Chateau Bow Wow, perhaps in all the world. I was the only one left. I went running from bungalow to bungalow, crying, "They're gone, they're gone." And then, from all around me, a terrible cry went up. It was like Howard and Heather's howling, but echoing and coming from all directions. I ran in a big circle, round and round, attempting to escape the awful sound. "They're gone," I cried again, as the howling reverberated in my ears, and then I felt myself being kicked over and over again. It was Chester, or the ghost of Chester, kicking me and accusing me. "You blew it," he snarled. "I tried to tell you, but you couldn't figure it out until it was late. Boy, leave it to a dumb dog." The kicking went on and on. It was so bad that it woke me. "Chester," I cried, thinking I was still in the nightmare. "It's about time," a voice replied. I shook my head, trying to make clear if I was asleep or awake. "Boy, Harold, nobody sleeps the way you do. Even for a dog, you're in a class for yourself. I know that voice once anywhere. And those insults, it could only be Chester," I cried. "Well, give the little dog a big cigar," he said. There was no doubt about it. I was awake, and Chester was back. Oh wow, that was a great way to end today's adventure. What did you think, Madam Owl? I like that part too. We'll see you on the next time, okay? And we'll see you next time here with Wayne Reads. I am Pirate D. Wayne, and I will continue my quest to be the king of the readers. Hope to see you on the next adventure. Bye-bye.